All right. Next up, blockchain and gaming. So I come from a background in the mobile space. I used to manage the content portal for Boost Mobile many years ago. And it came as no surprise to me that some of the early innovation that we would see in the blockchain space would come as a result of gaming. So many of you, I'm sure, are aware of the CryptoKitties phenomena earlier in the year. And the phenomena of gaming being a driver of innovation in the blockchain space is not something that's, that is over. So we're going to see a lot more of that, more non-fungible tokens being used in games. So I'm excited for this panel for that reason. We've got three great guests for this panel. First, we have our moderator, Nate Whitehill with CryptoSlate. He's the CEO and co-founder of CryptoSlate. We have Maher, who is the head of revenue with CryptoKitties. And we have Danil Myakin, who is the chief strategy officer and co-founder with Squilla Fund. So if I can have those gentlemen come out.
Good to see you, man. Hey guys. Hey guys, how's it going today?
Not bad, not bad.
Cool. All right, let's get right into it. So why is gaming such an important use case for blockchain and cryptocurrency? And feel free, either of you, to take that.
I mean, I can say I have experience as a professional player in esports like 5 years ago. And I know this like community from inside. And in a nutshell, it's very similar to blockchain community. It's very tight, very close, and I mean, these people, most of them are young and risk takers, and it's very tempting to blockchain projects to engage with this community. But at the same time, what I can see when we evaluate projects and so on, most of them are very like so niche focused, and that's just, they're not gonna fly.
Yeah, I think for this space to be successful as a whole, we need mass adoption of blockchain and blockchain technology. I think that's what we're all striving for here. And I think games and entertainment, we as a company think games and entertainment is the best avenue to drive mass adoption. So if you look at smartphones, let's say the iPhone or any smartphone, it's just would the iPhone be what it is today without apps? Probably not. It's just another cell phone with a touch screen. But I think it's been proven out, and the studies have shown that apps have driven adoption of smartphones, and by far the highest usage in terms of time, most users, et cetera, are games, and in terms of revenue too. So. Games really drove the adoption of the smartphone. We think the same will be the case for most consumer-facing technologies, especially blockchain.
Absolutely, it makes sense. So Mickey, could you talk about what are non-fungible tokens and why it's so important for the digital value economy?
Yeah, I mean, a non-fungible token is essentially, I mean, if you want to go with the definition of fungible, cryptocurrencies are fungible. I have a Bitcoin, you have a Bitcoin, they're the exact same. It's like gold, right? It's like I have a gold bar, you have a gold bar, we can exchange it. It doesn't really matter, but when you add something that's non-fungible, the values aren't necessarily the same. They're not directly tradable. So if you look at it in terms of kitties, you may have a blue kitty, I might have a red kitty. They might be similar in value, but not exactly the same, because the red might be more to you than it does to me, blue vice versa. So not directly exchangeable. So that's what they are. They're the ERC 721 on Ethereum. And the second part of your question was, why are they important?
Yeah, for the digital value economy.
I mean, they're just another way or a different way to store value rather than just crypto. And you can actually as we've shown with CryptoKitties, you can actually create utility, especially in entertainment and games, with a digital asset that's built on top of that ERC 721.
Absolutely, makes sense. Daniel, could you talk about what Squilla is and what problems it will solve for the ICO space?
Yeah, of course. So we have two main products. First is fund, and it's pretty, boring. It's just crypto fund, and we can say that as other 100 funds, we have some crazy, super good investment strategy. But the second product is our analytical platform. And I personally believe that right now, access to really trustworthy and transparent information for retail investors are extremely limited. And where they can find information, like ICO rating websites, reviews on YouTube, website of the company itself, and all these sources are incentivized and paid by the ICO. So it's clear agent principle problem, and we want to solve it. I believe that maturity of the market correlated with access to the information extremely high. And we want to provide them with clear information on our web platform, and we're going to charge them for subscription model. And yeah, we're going to give some information for free, like scam alert, when we think that some projects are scam. And as we talked before in this room, maybe Russians gonna chase us because a lot of Russian projects are fraudulent. But yeah, I think we're gonna take this hit.
That's good to
You're
know.
in trouble now.
Very necessary for the ecosystem to have kind of transparent sites and better ways to rate all the ICOs out there. So Mickey, CryptoKitties received a ton of attention in late 2017 for being extremely cute, but also for slowing down the Ethereum network. Tell us about what it was like to have the most popular decentralized application at the time and how you dealt with the realization that the network scalability wasn't yet ready for mainstream adoption.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack in that question. First, I think currently still the most popular D app. So then and now, yeah, the buzz isn't quite what it was in 2017, but our metrics are still strong, our numbers are still strong. Taking down the network was interesting. I wasn't there then, so I can't speak from experience. I can only speak from what I've been told. But a lot of people hated us, a lot of the crypto enthusiasts, because we kind of ruined all their plans of decentralization and using Ethereum for X, Y, and Z. We weren't, the real crypto enthusiasts weren't too happy with us, but it was just very interesting as a company to see, how much in its infancy this technology actually is. I mean, in terms of gaming and the scale of a typical game, we weren't even near what typical games, especially mobile games, or any game, frankly, gets to, and we crashed the very technology we're built on top of. So at that point, we knew that we were in the infancy, and we knew before, but that really proved it. And it created a lot of knowledge and learnings within the company, and it made it pretty clear that certain things within the blockchain space needed to improve over time for us to be able to really take advantage of what I mentioned earlier as a mass market approach to drive as many consumers as possible onto the blockchain. So I don't think the technology can support it. It didn't support it then, for sure. I don't think it supports it today. And we're working really hard in the space to try to bring the space up to a level where we can realize the dream of bringing, let's say, 1 billion users to the blockchain.
So with that, do you think that a switch to a proof-of-stake network is necessary for kind of the long-term adoption of tokenized gaming?
I think the improvement of the Ethereum protocol, or any protocol in general, is certainly needed. And we're looking into that and other things. because I mean, if we want to build more games, and let's be honest, CryptoKitties is the first iteration of games in this space, and games are going to get much more mass market. They're going to get much more intensive and robust, and the technology needs to improve. So any incremental step towards improving the technology to make it more scalable, to make the onboarding better, to make it cheaper, to make it more energy efficient, all those are positive steps in the right direction. How long will it take? What's the right solution? Who's going to come out with the right solution? All unknowns at this point, but any step towards that is positive.
Yeah, I think right now we can notice really many different ways how we can manage this consensus mechanism, and proof of stake is just only one of the approaches. And yeah, I totally support your point that we just need more effective solutions, less energy and more speed. It's main borders to adopt right now.
Absolutely, makes sense. So why is it important to take a long-term approach when evaluating the use cases of DApp-powered games, and why is it not necessarily a concern right now that some of the most popular dApps have relatively low usage numbers?
So what is the main KPI for the game? It's user base and engagement rate. And from this point, sometimes we can see that this blockchain kind of thing really limits the user ways to interact with game. And a lot of games, from design point of view, are very technical savvy. And I think we need more design people in this field who can just, again, bring this engagement rate more.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I think part of it is the technology. Like I said before, the technology is in its very infancy. That it needs a lot of improvement. The onboarding of users, the education to users needs a lot of improvement. But I think, too, the numbers are misleading. And to your point, like what are the KPIs we're looking at, right? So if you treat CryptoKitties as a game, you're going to say, yeah, it has a lower usage rate than we would expect from a game. It's misleading because the game, CryptoKitties is a crypto collectible and a game. And everything you do on it, you need to pay for. There's gas fees, you pay to breed, you pay to buy, et cetera, et cetera. So in terms of if I'm comparing CryptoKitties to the metrics, user metrics of a typical game, it's not going to be there because there's not that much you can do with a kitty, especially without paying. So if you want to look at DAU, it's not really a true measurement of what's happening in CryptoKitties because there aren't that many users that are going to come every day and breed or buy, right? An MAU metric or even a multi-month user metric is a much better indicator of the health. I'm speaking specifically of CryptoKitties, but I think most dApps in the space are similar. And then on top of that, we have something called the Kittyverse. In the Kittyverse, some of you may have seen it in the press, but it's essentially because of the open nature and the extensibility of the way we built our smart contracts, there's third-party game developers building on top of CryptoKitties. And a lot of our users are using their kitties out of their wallet into these other experiences. So the numbers specifically, again, on CryptoKitties don't take that into account either. So there is more engagement than that's showing, but also there isn't the expectation to have higher DAU or higher daily engagement numbers shouldn't really be there if you really understood gaming and the mechanics and the nature of what CryptoKitties is.
Yeah, I think it's how you measure this engagement, because a lot of engagement in terms of CryptoKitties happens not in the website of the CryptoKitties,
Yes.
just in the messengers when people speak about it. Even we right now kind of engage in this,
Yeah, our Discord channel is crazy. Our social media presence is crazy. We get a lot of press. There's far more engagement with CryptoKitties than just DAU numbers that people are referencing to disparage the space, let's say.
Very interesting. So correct me if I'm wrong. But it sounds like one of the other things that's needed for the space to mature is a very kind of regular and robust Ethereum browser to actually use these dApps. So something like Coinbase Wallet may potentially be another avenue that people are able to download an app and then begin experimenting with some of these dApps. Yeah.
I mean, the latest game I really enjoyed was the Crypto Commander Space, or like Crypto Space Commander, and I think they don't face these problems. A lot of games we've seen who is launching ICO right now, they just use some Unity or whatever, and I don't see it as a real problem.
Yeah. Discovery is always an issue with gaming. And right now with blockchain gaming, there is no central portal or central channel for discovery, and that is needed. On top of the onboarding into a dApp experience for a user is, I mean, even for someone like myself, it's painful, and I know what I'm doing. So discovery and onboarding need to be fixed, and whether it's a browser or something else, that you'll start seeing solutions to those problems popping up. I don't know if they'll be viable solutions or they'll be the initial experiences trying to solve these problems will be the eventual things that solve these problems, but someone's going to solve them, and you'll see iterations of it over the next coming months, I would assume.
Very cool. So other than creating digital rarity, could you guys talk about some other potential use cases for ERC-721 tokens?
Yeah, I mean, rarity, scarcity is one aspect, but I think ERC-721 also creates utility in a way that, a CryptoKitty has CryptoKitty has what we call cattributes. And cattributes are just a genetic code or the cat's genomes, right? And those are baked into the smart contract. They're unchangeable, immutable. That's part of the kitty, the NFT, or the collectible. But those cattributes, those genomes, can be used for many different use cases, right? So you could take your cat and you could port it to different experiences, and those experiences could write to the genomes and make the genomes do certain things or be a certain way within that game or within that experience. So it's creating utility, creating portability across different aspects, and then actually you have a visualization, you have something that it's not a token, it's a token with an image or some usability across experiences.
I think it's very tempting to believe in the future when you can transfer your gaming items and really own them.
Yep.
Like for example, you can own some kind of gun or sword by which some kind of special dragon was killed first time. But from like real point of view, I don't think this coming anytime soon, even though I really want to come, wanted to come.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope it's gonna.
What exactly you don't think is going to come anytime soon?
Like this really open market when I can transfer some kind of gun to my wallet somewhere out of the Steam, for example. Yeah, just imagine Steam allowing me to do it.
Yeah, I think Steam or your incumbent larger game companies.
Yeah.
I mean, I've spent 11 years in gaming. I know everyone. I've talked to most. Some are interested, some are taking a cautious approach. But I think what you'll see from blockchain gaming is more of CryptoKitties types companies, small. I mean, we were an indie, right? I mean, CryptoKitties started with 5 people. So more indie type developers experimenting with this new this new technology. It happened on mobile. None of the winners on mobile are your incumbent large game developers. They were all indies that started up and built specifically for mobile. So I think what you'll see more quickly than I think you'll see is these indies building for blockchain, and these experiences will kind of come out of nowhere, kind of like a Candy Crush from King or Supercell or some of those indies that were indies, not anymore because of mobile, but they built specifically for mobile, and you'll see small teams build specifically for the blockchain and come up with amazing, unique, creative experiences that really take this to the next level and multiple levels higher.
Yeah, I hope at some point it just big companies gonna be in the position when they just can't resist even more and just adopt it.
Of course.
Yeah.
As soon as the use case of this platform or technology is proven more, the big companies will certainly, most certainly dive in, for sure.
That's great. Could either of you guys talk about what some of the benefits that Ethereum 2.0 will kind of bring to scalability, such as Casper and obviously the switch to a proof of stake? Will that improve the CryptoKitties experience?
Well, I mean, I'm not the technical expert that's going to build towards that, but I would say non-specifically, we always look at protocols and different protocols to help us achieve our goals. And achieve our goal, again, is to bring a mass audience to blockchain. So I think it's a step in the right direction. I don't know enough technically about how much of a step in the right direction it is to let you know if it will solve our problems or solve the problems of the space. You know, anything that you could that could really make a huge impact. Maybe, maybe not, but it's definitely a step in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not a technical guy as well, so.
What we do know is that the more transactions and the cheaper they are. That's to be better for mainstream adoption.
That's the point, but how much faster and how much cheaper, right?
Yep.
Because they need to get a lot faster and a lot cheaper.
Absolutely, that makes total sense. Danil, could you talk about what will be the impact on kind of the blockchain startup community if all ICOs are treated as securities?
So SEC, I mean, it's official stand right now that there are only 2 utility tokens, and it's Ethereum and Bitcoin. And even from logical point of view, okay, when you're launching an ICO, the only one use case you're gonna have like 1 year, 2 years, so it depends on your roadmap down the road, it's speculative, and it's basically a security approach. So I think it's happening right now, and it's not a big deal. If you wanna do, I don't know, utility stuff, you can go to Malta or Korea or just launch your company there, and yeah.
What it will do to the indie community, offering a security is, from my understanding, is much, much more expensive in terms of legality. So I think there will be no startups doing security offerings because they're too expensive. So if the space is ever treated as, you know, again, not a legal expert, but if they're ever forced to be securities instead of ICOs, I think you'll see the number shrink drastically.
Very interesting. Since we're running out of time right now, so really appreciate all the panel guys. Very interesting answers, and hope you guys learned something. Thank you so much. Let's please give it up for Danil and Mickey.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Danil, Mickey, Nate, thank you guys very much. Wonderful. So we are just about on track, caught up from our late start this morning. We're going to quickly just get these off stage, and we're going to move forward with Look Lateral next. So hold tight, don't go anywhere, and we'll be starting up shortly. Thank you.
Just a young gun with a quick fuse. I was uptight, wanna let loose.